Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a firefighter. Do you have any idea what a firefighter does? Well, I think I do. But hey, let's talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Jake Barnes.
Thank you so much, Tiberius. Great to be here.
Thank you for being on the show. Okay, so you were listed as a fireman. Can you explain to us exactly what do you do?
Well, first I got to stop you. It's firefighter because we have women and men, so we say firefighter. And as far as what do we do, oh my goodness, there's so much. We do a lot of things you probably don't think about. Like we probably spend more time cleaning the firehouse than being at fires. That's a good thing because we don't want a bunch of fires happening, people losing their stuff. But we do a lot of that. We also do a ton of training. So like a lot of our day is filled up with training. I always got to learn how like houses and buildings are made and stuff like that.
Huh. So what sparked your interest in learning to fight fires?
It was an accident. I joined the military. I joined the Air Force, and they said you can pick 4 jobs, and we'll guarantee you one of those 4. So I picked 3 jobs that I wanted, and the last job, I was flipping through the book of the jobs that I could get. The very last one was fire protection specialist. And I'm like, man, I'll get that. I'll put that down because I won't get it. I'll get one of the other 3 jobs. 2 weeks later, Uncle Sam made me a firefighter. I didn't care too much about that, honestly. But when I was in the fire academy down in Texas for the Air Force, we had our first live burns, buildings that like are made to burn live fire, big fires in all the time for training. And so they said, whoever gets the highest score in the next test gets to stay in the fire the longest. I didn't try to get the highest score. I just happened to get the highest score. So they kicked everybody else out. They let me and the other instructor stay there. And the fire just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it started going over our head, filled up the room. And my helmet started to kind of misshape because of the heat. And the air that was in my air pack, which is like back there, started getting hot. And that's when I knew. I said, I just want to do this for the rest of my life. This is the most fun I've ever had. And it was a blast. But that was actually the day I think I decided I want to be a firefighter. Everything up to that point was just trying to join the military.
No fire.
No fire yet.
No fire.
30 years later, I love it still.
Okay, so what is your daily schedule like?
It depends. So I'm the battalion chief of training. So when I go to work, I usually do a lot of computer work. I start my day off though going to the gym, and I'll go to the gym for about an hour, hour and a half. Then I will go to the office and do a ton of computer work, making sure everybody's all their certifications and credentials are up to date. Plan training, a lot of reading books to learn new things, and then actually have the actual training, which could be about 4 hours out of my day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
Okay, well, obviously fighting fires help makes the world a better place, but how exactly do you fight it for different scenarios?
It really depends. So we have to learn 2 main things as a firefighter. One is fire behavior, how fire acts, period. And there's a lot of science that goes behind that. And then on the other side is building construction, how buildings are made today versus 40 years ago. And then we put them together. How is fire going to act in this particular box? So a fire in like your house, the same size fire in your house versus the same size fire in a warehouse, 2 different things.
Wow. Huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, how long does it usually take to become a fireman?
It depends. Every place is a little different, but I think when you join like the department I'm at, it's about 3 months from when you start the fire academy till you actually go to shift work and ride the fire truck. So 3 months is pretty good. Some places make you be a paramedic, so it might stretch it out to about a year, but that's pretty average.
Okay. Well, what's the best part about being a fireman?
Helping people, really helping people. We make way more medical runs than we do fires. So it's more opportunity to help people. And sometimes helping people is just like holding their hand. I've been in the back of an ambulance with an older lady that is just terrified. You know, she has hip problems or whatever, but she's just scared to be in an ambulance. And I have all these medicines and tools and stuff. But if you just hold her hand and talk to her, best feeling ever. And it usually makes them way more comfortable.
Okay. Well, now here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we are back here talking with Jake Barnes. And Jake is a fireman, or firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the most challenging job or mission that you've had, and how'd you do it?
So the thing about being a firefighter is you have to keep going. You never just like leave the fire still burning. You don't, there's no quitting what we do. So
Yeah.
the toughest thing is when you have to, I've been at a fire before and it was an apartment complex and I was as physically done as I could be. I could not move my arms. I couldn't move my back. I mean, I was done.
Dead.
And then the boss came up and said, "Hey, we got to go search these other rooms and then do some overhaul." Overhaul is after the fire where we check for hot spots by tearing out the cabinets and the walls and stuff. And you can't say, "I'm too tired" or I can't do it. You have to get up and find that inner strength. And that happens a lot to where you're just done, but you still have to do your job.
Man. Well, do you ever get to a fire and decide it's too dangerous to attempt to put out?
No, the worst it gets is what we call surround and drowns. Surround and drown means there's so much fire that we cannot go in. We physically cannot go in. And then so we just protect all the stuff outside, like if there's buildings beside it, and then we shoot water in from outside in, and hopefully it'll put that fire out to where we can move in. But those are the big fires you'll see on TV and the news, but they're no fun because you're not doing anything. You're just sitting outside throwing water. Surround and drown.
Hey, it's water. Water can be fun.
Water can be fun. You're right.
Well, are there any challenges in being engulfed in flames, and how do you even stay calm?
So I've been on fire one time, and it was by accident. Me and a friend, Ron Brown, were moving into the front room of a house, and there was some liquid that we think was like kerosene or something spilled. And I saw the fire just follow Ron, and Ron went up like a Roman candle. Well, I grabbed Ron so we could fall out the door together, and then I caught on fire. Now, it sounds horrible, but if you look, our gear back there is made to sustain that for a time. So all that gear back there, I didn't feel any heat. And my brothers put me out super quick and Ron out. And then me and Ron got back up and went back in the burning building and put out the fire.
Wow. Only once?
Yeah, pretty much only once. I've been in training fires before, which I do want to get to what I think the best job for you would be. And this was a training fire, and I stood up quicker than I should, and I saw the fire come right at my head. And so from my shoulders up, I was completely engulfed in fire for a few seconds. The worst part of it was I'm like a little kid. I was like, cool. And then my face got super, super hot and my eyes started to hurt. So I bit down and I was okay.
Wow. Okay. That would be fun.
It was awesome. It was. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, how often do you have the fire to go to? Like twice a day or once a week?
It's an old fireman told me one time, because I was so young, I just wanted more and more fires. He said, "Son, fires are like bananas. They come in bunches. So you don't have a plan. Wintertime seems to be the most. My fire department has been making a lot. Yes, wintertime is the busy time for actual fires.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is weird.
Well,
That's
yeah,
very
everybody's inside.
interesting. Because
It
like,
is. Yep.
is it mainly inside or outside?
So most everybody's on the inside in the winter, and they have extra heaters and everything like that,
Oh,
and that causes issues all the
that
time.
makes
So
sense.
yeah,
So how? What's your favorite part of fighting fires? Is it spraying the hose or is it going inside the flames?
I love. So there's two main parts to being a firefighter. Now they break down to a bunch of little subparts, but there's two main parts. There's an engine, and then there's the truck. The engine has the hose and the water tank and hooks up to the hydrant, and that's called an engine man. And then the truckies are on the truck. They don't have any hose or water, and they go in without a hose and just search, right? So it's a very tough job. Between those two, I still like being on the engine and pulling the hose in the fire and actually putting the fire out. That to me is still my favorite part.
Okay. Now, I really like watching and looking at fire. My dad says I'm a pyromaniac. Is there any way to enjoy fire but in a super safe way? We even have a fire pit in the backyard.
So be so careful. Please be careful with that. But yes, I thought about a job for you and you're going to love it. Okay. So when you get older, become a firefighter, you want to become an instructor like myself and then go one step further and be a live fire instructor. So what a live fire instructor does is they
Ah.
build the fires and they light the fires and they build the sets. We call them sets to have the fire do certain things. We can create it to where the fire goes right over top of your head. We can create it to where the fire puts out more smoke than heat. It's a lot of fun. And when I heard that you have an affinity for fire, I thought, you know what? You'd be a great live fire instructor. Create we call them arsonists. We really do. You know, you're the arson for this fire today, and you go and set the fire. You make it and you set it.
The ABC for the word arson. Arson, barson, and then C, commit arson.
or don't commit arson. That's good too.
Well, yeah, that's good too. But do a lot of firemen grow up from enjoying watching fire?
I think so. I've worked with a lot of people that all they've ever wanted to be is a firefighter since they were little, and they do the whole, they wear their dad's gear and they pull the garden hose and spray, and then they like watching the campfires and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a healthy respect, though. It's fire
Oh,
acts
yeah.
the same way every time. There's no fire's not going to surprise you.
I mean, unless it's really big and it grows really fast.
But see, it's still going to be stuck to physics. There's nothing it can do
Yeah.
other than now you put that fire in a box and like a house, and you add a bunch of furniture, then that can change it. But the fire
Yeah.
itself is very predictable.
I never.
And
knew
you
that.
got red suspenders on, just like firemen. See, I think that's what you need to be. It's a firefighter.
Huh. What's the most misunderstood part about your work?
Probably that when I came in 30 years ago, is that dumb people did it. Like you couldn't do anything else. It's not a professional job. That was what
Yeah.
was said, but it's totally opposite. We have to understand not only fire behavior and building construction, confined space, rope rescue, swift water rescue, hazardous
Yeah.
materials. We do everything. So it's not a white collar job and it's not a blue collar job. I call it a light blue collar job because we do a lot of down and dirty physical hand stuff, but we have to be smart and we have to understand what we're doing and how it affects the fire. And it does.
What's the difference between a white collar job and a blue collar job?
Blue collar's more using your hands, digging ditches, like my dad's a
So you're
plumber.
calling it a light blue because okay.
Yeah, because it's a little bit of both.
Okay. So, do you need a lot of training in order to do this type of work?
Yes, you do. You really do. And if you don't like training, if you don't like school, then you don't want to be a firefighter because our job is training all the time. But it's fun. I mean, you get to train
It's
rappelling
fun
out of.
training at least.
It's a blast. Who doesn't like being in a burning building? It's just so much fun.
I love being in a burning building.
There you go.
Well, do you have a favorite saying or a thing that you do while sliding down the fireman's pole?
No, I don't. But I
You
will tell you a funny
don't?
story. I fell down. I didn't grab the pole in time. It was middle of the night. And as I was sleepy and I thought I grabbed it. So I stepped forward and I fell halfway down. At the last second, I grabbed it, but I was going too fast. And then I land on my back. And then I see this guy's head at the very top of the looked out at me because I was new, and he just shook his head and he's like, "These new guys," and I'm just kind of sprawled out on the bottom of the concrete floor. But yeah, that was fun.
That was hilarious. See, I thought you were gonna say yippee-ki-yay, mother trucker, but guess not.
Next time I go down it, I'll do that just for you. How's that?
Okay.
Just for you.
Die Hard. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's a Christmas movie too.
It's a Christmas. Yes, many people don't think it's a Christmas movie. It is a Christmas movie. But have you ever gotten a prank call and actually went to their house?
No, but we do get called for some silly stuff. So one of them was a lady could not get her bracelet off. So she called 911 to have us go lights and sirens to get her bracelet taken off. And I was a new guy, so I was kind of mad. But my officer, my lieutenant, Steve Gillum, was the nicest guy in the world to her, and he helped her. He did everything right. And he said, "Ma'am, next time, just call the direct number. Don't call 911, because we're for emergency." And I remember thinking that was great customer service. But yeah, I was so mad. I was like, "I'm a fireman. I'm a hero. Oh, you don't call me for bracelets. That's stupid." But truth is, she just needed help.
Huh. Always help everyone.
That's honestly the truth of it.
That's one of the big
help
things.
no matter what. It doesn't have to be our emergency.
Yeah.
Our emergencies are different. So if anybody needs our help, we help.
Yeah. Well, what's the hardest part about working as a firefighter?
The hardest thing to get used to probably is the schedule, because some schedules are you're there for 48 hours in a row and then you're off for several days. I've worked a bunch of schedules, one on, one off. What's hard about it is you're away from your family. So you don't you might miss birthdays. You might miss your kid's first walk, or they might have missed your first podcast. See, stuff like that. That's really tough. That's really tough to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. Well, who can you say was the person to help drive your passion the most?
Different people at different times. And also there was a guy in Lexington, Kentucky that I worked with. He was my boss. And he every now and then would drop these nuggets and he would guide me along the way. And I had no idea he was doing it. He was an excellent mentor, an excellent fire officer, Greg Stapleton. And, move up to today, I've got a really good friend of mine, Jacob Johnson, who lives in Texas, who is constantly pushing me and helping me and mentoring me to be a better firefighter.
What is the best advice you've ever received?
So I was told I'd been in the fire service about 10 years, and there was a guy named Joe Best in Lexington, Kentucky, and I was stationed with him, and I would catch him out in the bay in the middle of the day doing stuff that just on his own. And I would help him. And he told me, he said, "Listen, always give 1 hour a day extra back to the fire department. I don't care if you've run all day. I don't care if you've trained all day. Give 1 more hour back, whether it's learning your streets, learning a tool, whatever it is." And it hit me hard when he said it. And that was 20 plus years ago. And I teach it to all my new recruits every single class. And I think it's the best advice I've ever got.
Ah, nice. Well, what was the very first job that you've ever had?
My first paid job was I worked for the local newspaper in Frankfort, Kentucky, and the State Journal. And I'd go at midnight at Saturday nights, and we would stuff all those flyers you get in the big Sunday paper that say, go to Mr. Gaddy's or whatever. We would have to manually stuff those. It was terrible. Paper cuts everywhere. That was horrible.
I'm guessing people loved their bloody newspapers.
There's blood all over. Yeah. I like that.
Was there anything you learned from that job that helped you be a better firefighter?
Yeah, I mean, it taught me that not every part of your job is going to be enjoyable. Even as a firefighter, with the best job in the world, you can put anybody in front of me with a different job and I'll tell them they're wrong. Best job in the world is being a firefighter. Every job has that crappy part. I really enjoyed the people I worked with. I enjoyed the money. I thought it was cool to be out after midnight. I mean, I enjoyed all that stuff. But every job has that thing that just sucks. And that was the little cuts with the ink in them. That was terrible.
Well, what message do you want to tell children all over the world about doing the work that you do?
First off, it's the best job in the world. There's nothing better than being a firefighter. But if you're not going to be a firefighter, you can help support them by they have different like firefighters die a lot of cancer and heart attacks. So, doing stuff to raise money for those things to help firefighters. Don't play with matches. Make sure you wear your seatbelt. Know how to get out of your house. Don't block your door. All that basic stuff. Don't be in love with watching fire dance. I'm looking at you, Tiberius. I'm looking right at you, bro.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills. Not light them on fire. And we are back here with Jake Barnes, a firefighter who teaches other firefighters.
Oh, yeah.
So, how does a firefighter switch from fighting fires to training new people to be firefighters?
It's difficult because, like I said, you go from, working 24-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts to 8 hours a day. So that transition is kind of tough. And then also, as a firefighter, I've made so many mistakes. And then I become the training officer, and all those people remember those mistakes. And they're like, oh, you're going to be my training officer, right? And I saw you do this, this, and this. I'm like, but I kind of learned from them. But it was a tough transition. I tried to get out of it up till the day I had to show up for the first time as a training officer. I tried to get out of the job.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's that bad?
No, it's stress I put on myself. Nobody likes to talk in front of people. I have since gotten very used to talking in front of large groups. But at first I was terrified because there's some great firefighters that I work with that I think are way better than I ever could be. And I had to teach them stuff. And I'm like, my ego's not going to take that very well.
Yeah. Well, at what age level do you think people should learn to do this type of work? Like, is it safe for kids to learn about and try to get into?
It really is. I mean, there's local places have what's called explorer programs where you can go to the firehouse and you get a uniform and you go there and you can do all kinds of stuff. They have you like help clean or help train, put up equipment, and they teach you all about the job. Now you can't go in the burning buildings, obviously, but as you get older, they may take you to the scene and you can stand, a little bit closer than, it's kind of, that's cool too, though. That's really cool.
That gets to do my favorite part of fire.
Yeah. It's cool. And there's tons of videos out there. And then not only watching it, but trying to predict what it's about to do. Like I said, fire's predictable.
Yeah.
So if you watch certain videos and you see certain colors of smoke or whatever, it's fun to go, I bet you that's about to flash or come out this window or go through that door. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, Explorer programs, they have a lot of vocational programs in high schools that will get you your firefighter 1 and 2 designation, which is good. So yeah, there's a lot out there. You'd be surprised.
Okay. So what do you teach others and how long are your lessons?
It depends. I always say that you got to know your audience. That's number one for any instructor. So for me, I feel like my people will take 2 hours of classroom training and that's about it. That's a long time. But they would take 4 hours of hands-on training, meaning like doing live fire training or evolutions where you're actually pulling hose and crawling through buildings and stuff. So 2 to 4 hours is about that. A boss once told me that the brain only holds out as long as the butt can. So if they're tired of being in those chairs, you're not going to teach them anything. So try to keep it to those limits.
Okay. What was that one thing that happened in your career that you did not expect?
Oh, how many people are pregnant and do not know it? That blew me away. How many people can be actually pregnant and have no idea they're pregnant? And then they call us because, they have stomach issues or whatever. And we're like, oh, there's a baby coming. So.
Wow. Well, what have you learned about yourself that you wish that you knew earlier?
Again, I go back to the having more fuel in the tank. I know that, like, if I think my limit is this, I know that it's actually this or higher. Being a firefighter, again, you can't quit. You don't go, I'm just tuckered out. I can't do this fire. I can't keep searching for this baby. You just got to keep digging. So I wish I knew that early on because I think I set limits on myself as a young firefighter. I was like, oh, I'm tired, whatever. No, you don't. That's a luxury we don't get. We don't get tired. We don't get to quit. We don't get to stop. But we get all the babes. That's right. All the babes love us. They don't hang around cops. They hang around us. Ooh. Wonder if that's going to make it into the show.
Yeah. Dad, you got it. Well, if you could go back in time and give your 13-year-old self advice, what would it be?
Uh, for me personally, be join the military the second I graduate high school. Honestly, it was a great experience. It teaches you a whole lot of responsibility and accountability. I waited until I was 23, I believe. So yeah, I wish I'd done that. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. What was the biggest mistake that you've ever made? And how did it change as a person?
I've been married twice. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Is your dad laughing? Was he laughing in the background?
Oh, yeah, he was laughing because he's also been married twice.
He gets it.
So,
he gets it.
when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
So I had this question asked. I was on a podcast not too long ago, and my hobbies are firefighting. So I like go around teaching. I love learning about fire stuff. But if I'm not doing that, which is almost all the time, it's video games. I've played video games since the very first Atari. I will play video games till the day I die. It is childish and all that stuff. Whatever people say, you'll burn in hell for playing, all the things, whatever. I don't care. I will play forever.
Huh. What's your favorite one?
Call of Duty. Call of Duty, man. I love it. I love to hate it. How about that? I love to hate it. I play it every day, and I'm mad at it every day.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
Gamers get it.
Yeah. COD Zombies.
I love COD Zombies. That's my favorite.
Dude, whenever you don't get the role that you want, it's just...
Oh,
but now, you said that you read a lot of books. What's your favorite book to read?
My favorite book probably ever is going to be a fiction book by Michael Crichton called Timeline. I love time travel stuff.
Sci-fi.
And it's a really cool book. But lately I've been reading a ton of books on leadership and emotional intelligence and
Good.
conversations. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? You know, remember, this is a kid's show. The one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on. You can tell
Like
me.
what? You got to prompt me. What exactly? I'm not going to rat on myself.
Embarrassing story. You know, just something that no one knows about you. Something.
Oh, I got one. I was crawling through a fire. We were looking for somebody. Nobody was hurt. They were found by another company. We had eaten dinner about an hour earlier. As I'm crawling around, I have a pain in my belly, thinking I was going to do a normal bodily function while I was crawling in this fire to pass gas. And it turned out that was not the case at all. It was much more intense. I cleaned that up pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm guessing you were questioning, are farts lumpy?
I poop my pants. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I poop my pants. But again, I've been married twice, so that all kind of ties into.
Is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
Weird dude. I'm a very weird dude.
Hey, same here.
Love it.
Do you have a Facebook or website for my listeners that want to follow you?
Yes, I have a podcast called Point Firefighter. It's on Spotify, Apple. It's on all the major platforms. It's in season 4. I talk to firefighters all around the country, all around the world, actually. Talk fire stuff. I love fire stuff. I also have a Facebook page, a private page. I encourage firefighters to go and join. It's called 3-Point Firefighter on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I got all the stuffs with the YouTubes and the interwebs, all 3-Point Firefighter. It's just fireman stuff. Firefighter stuff. See, even I get it wrong.
Okay, so what is this one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
You forgot to ask me if I had any questions for you.
Well, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, yeah. With your show, as big as it is and as important as it is and cool as it is, how many times do you get noticed when you go out in public?
Very rarely. The first time it ever happened was at Universal.
Okay.
And I think, well, that's crazy. Where in Universal? I was at the Harry Potter theme park in Universal, and there were these two girls who walked up to me like, "Hey, are you Tiberius?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yes I am." And you're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so famous." I'm like, Dad? They want me to sign my business card. They're like, oh,
Wow.
here you go. So now we have signatures that if you pop up where I am and you ask for a signature, we have a briefcase full of headshots of me where I can sign it and tell you to be Lion Strong, which Lion Strong is the next segment. No, it's not. We have Math
Nice.
Corners and then Lion Strong.
Yeah,
See,
so say-
I forget stuff. See?
Math corners and line strong, bro. That's it.
Got any more questions?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Thank you, Jay, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Absolutely.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Jake, for helping with Math Corners. This week, we're going to do some more multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve. Today, we're going to talk about fires. Ooh, I'm going to like this one.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so imagine a building with 150 people in it on fire. You, the captain and director of the operation, need everyone evacuated in 15 minutes. If the building has 3 floors, half of the people are on the first floor, 25% on the second, and 25% on the third. And each one man can save 10 people at a time in 5 minutes at a time. How many men do you need to send in order to save everyone? Well, first, this is a real-world problem because, well, accidents happen where people need saving. And insurance from State Farm with Jake.
Nice. Well done. Well played.
So, to solve this, first, look at the problem. You have 150 people, and if one man can save 10 people, well, that's literal. They can only save 3. But, for the sake of math, let's do the problem anyway. Well, it's 150 people divided by 10, which is 15 men, right? Well, you need them going to 15 minutes, not 5 minutes. So, you take that 15 minutes and divide it by the 5 minutes, and then you get 3. So, that means that you can take the 15 men and divide it by 3, and then you get 5 men total, which could save the 150 people in 15 minutes. Now, if this was real, I guess the real question would be, would you try to send more men to get them out faster, or who would survive?
Ooh, ugh. That's a gruesome question.
Yeah. So, Jake, did you ever have to figure out crazy math questions like this when you were in school?
Yes. And I usually cheated when I was in school. But when I was a firefighter, I didn't cheat. I had to learn. And so when you look at the hoses that come off the fire truck, we have to calculate, we have to solve for X to figure out how many GPMs we want to come out of the hose. Because as water pushes, well, as anything pushes through a confined space, it exerts pressure. And that is a reduction in pressure loss. So it gets real ugly real quick. So there's that. And then also the tools we use like this has a lot to do with mechanical advantage. So it can go anywhere from 5 to 1 to 15 to 1, depending on what SAD you use and how you use it. So yeah, we do a lot of math. We math hard.
So my teacher said that I would use math every day. How do you use math with your work?
Aside from that, I didn't believe that. When I was in high school and I was told, you use math every day, I didn't believe it, but it's true. And I tell you why. I kind of like math. So I learned late in life that doing like algebra equations just for fun kind of helps your brain. Of course, in the fire department, we do it too.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jake, for your help with Math Corners.
That's what I do.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week, we're talking about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering we are God's special possessions and acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. The qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness. So, at my school, the semester ended and we are on break. We all had a big ceremony and had a lot of fun. Now, we had tests before that and had to work very hard on our grades. Everyone that had honor roll got an award, but people who got distinguished honor roll got an award as well. But what was very cool is the school arranged to have their parents there to see their accomplishments. This was very noble and nice of the school to tell the kids' parents about their achievements and to invite them to surprise their children. So, Jake, did you see or use nobility at all this week?
I did. It's gonna be a buzzkill, but it's not meant to be a buzzkill. Um, over this past week, we lost a firefighter in New Jersey at a house fire. Excuse me. And then we also had a firefighter injured in Kentucky in Grant County. So when I see stuff like that come across my email, to me, all I can think about is noble. That there's no more noble a cause. And these brothers went in knowing every fire we go to, we know something could go wrong.
Yeah.
And we do our job anyway. So
There's
yes,
a big possibility that something can go wrong.
yes, absolutely. So there's no more noble a thing than a firefighter giving his life.
This is why life is like chess. One wrong move, it could lead to your death.
Yes, and there's a
That
clock
rhyme?
involved.
Wait, hold up. Did that rhyme?
Uh-oh. My COVID's acting up. Sorry.
Well, of all the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
Lately, leadership. I'm very fixated on leadership, so it becomes quite ubiquitous when anything I look at or talk about always tends to go back to leadership.
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Jake Barnes for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about your career as a firefighter and fighting fires.
Thank you, Brad. This has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed every last bit of it.
Okay. Do you mind giving your social media website again so that people can follow you?
Yes, absolutely. So my podcast is called Point Firefighter. It's on Spotify, Google, all major platforms. And then all my social media is Point Firefighter with the private group called Point Firefighter on Facebook.
Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KN98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easy Way TV, and all the other stations that air my show. Please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button.
Woo!
Hey, Jake, are you subscribed yet?
Absolutely, I am.
Be sure to leave me a comment if you want to work out putting fires. I answer all the comments myself. Also, be sure to listen to next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.